name is Margie Daniels. I'm the Executive Director of Massachusetts Partnerships for Youth. We're a nonprofit organization that's dedicated to prevention and intervention in matters of health and safety for youth. And every year for the past decade, we've held a public service announcement project where we invite middle school and high school students to submit original public service announcements. This year, for the very first time, we have winners from Walden High School. We're very excited to show you the wonderful production that they've done. I just want to explain that the process is that we receive PSAs from all over Eastern Massachusetts. This year we received 64, and out of the 64, we have a winner. We had a panel of judges, which was composed of police chiefs, school administrators, teachers, and some public servants who viewed the public service announcements and picked 5 finalists. The 5 finalists were shown all over Eastern Massachusetts. Students voted to select the winner, and we have just a phenomenal public service announcement to show you. As you can see, our theme for this year was Be a Voice, Not an Echo. And such a powerful message came from these students about the dangers of texting and driving. Jim Valenti is from Walden High School. He is a media teacher. And Jim, we'd love to hear a little bit about the project, your students, and how this all came about.
Absolutely. Thank you, Margie. Thank you for having us, first of all, and thank you for the opportunity to take part in this. This is something we do annually. We look forward to working with your office and this contest, and this is the first time we've won, and we're really excited. This year we had several kids in the class that were interested in piloting a video, and what we did was we sort of brainstormed and think tanked and allowed the kids to come up with their own idea as to what they felt that Be a Voice, Not an Echo meant. And we had a whole range of ideas. Some talked about depression, some talked about bullying, and others, like the winning video, talked about the safety of driving without texting. And when it came right down to it, we were able to get 3 or 4 kids who were able to crew up and get a story written and storyboard some shots, and then eventually go out and, with a small frame of time, put together a video that we felt was really intriguing. So we're just glad to be part of it.
Wonderful. And I know you have a new superintendent in the Malden Public Schools, John O'Terry. I've spoken to John on the phone. He was very sorry he couldn't be here today, but he is so proud of you and the students for the wonderful production.
Mr. O'Terry, prior to being the superintendent at Malden High School, was the principal at Somerville High School, and I know from the inception of your work with the PSA contest, Somerville High School was the very first winner of this contest. So he was a little bit intrigued about the fact that we were taking part, and he was hoping that we could come out on top because he wanted to keep the legacy going, of course. So we were thrilled.
He kidded me that he's the common denominator now of the winners.
Yeah, exactly. He did say that as well, yeah. Actually, with a wink in his eye, of course.
Yes,
it was
of course.
Great. So. But I did bring the 5 participants with me today, and I'd love to introduce them if that's okay with you.
Be fabulous.
It's great. So Max Batista is our director. He's headed off to Emerson College where he'll study directorial arts and filmmaking. Sitting next to him is a junior student, Fred Weiss, who played one of the lead characters in the show. Here I have Omar Pineda. Omar was our cinematographer. Next to him is another senior, Marcus Simon, and he was also a participant as an actor. And next to Marcus is Fernando Pedro, who is also a participant as an actor in our video. And it was a combination of these 5 gentlemen coming together. I know Fernando had started out with a good story idea, and combining with the idea that he had some really good friends who wanted to act, and a great director and a cinematographer we know that could really handle the workload. They were able to put together this video in a real short amount of time, with very few snags, to getting the production done under the bell that we had set up for them to make sure that we had it for you folks by early May.
just a great job with the message that's so very important. You know, there's a lot of talk in the state legislature now about even banning handheld devices for adults for just talking on cell phones, because distracted driving is, as you know, is such an issue. So we're really happy that you hit on such an important message, and we always feel that messages that come from teens to other teens are so much more powerful than what we as adults can say to them. So this is terrific to have it in your own words, your own thoughts, and I really thank you for creating something that hopefully will save lives across Massachusetts. So I thank you, Jim, thank you so much. And I thank you for your wonderful creations, and let's see what next year brings. Maybe this is the start of a dynasty.
True, true. I know, Fernando, you kind of started with the idea for this story. What made you consider this to be the message you thought would be sort of something that everyone should hear?
So I started driving at a young age. I'm the guy that normally drives my friends around, and I have the car. So something that I always refrain from is texting and driving, or just being attentive while I'm on the road, because I have to deal with the lives of my many friends that are also in the car. So I feel like I should implement that into a video where maybe my response as far as like being in the car should probably be projected on other teen drivers.
It's great. It was actually a really good message. We had several kids who, again, brainstormed ideas, and this was one that came to the forefront. And I think everyone felt really strongly about this message, which is why I think this video came out so well. I know, Max, you kind of worked as our director for this video. What went into the idea of putting together the idea of shooting in a car while the car was actually in motion, so on and so forth?
Well, we were trying to figure out how we could get the crash on camera, and we couldn't really figure out a way to get it, like if we were going to shoot it inside, outside, how we would actually film the impact. So we just kept driving, and then we had the idea to put it on the dashboard, and then we just like turned and it fell, and that's what we took for
Sometimes
the
mistakes
shot.
make it happen, yeah.
Yeah.
Omar, as the cinematographer, what did you see as far as the, and I know you kind of came on late, right? I mean, they kind of asked you some advice, and then they just said, well, we want you on the crew, and they kind of brought you in. What did you find to be both easy and difficult about creating this piece?
Well, I mean, going into this piece, I liked the story of it, and I already thought, like Max saying that, oh, we're gonna be filming in the car and stuff like that, and trying to record this and that, and it was the shots like in the cemetery and stuff. They were quite easy, you know. We were trying to be different, you know, recording in between the two tombstones and everything. We were just trying to be different with our shots and intricate, and those were quite easy. But I think the most difficult shots was in the car, because I have this gimbal that I have my camera on, and whenever the car would turn and stuff like that, the gimbal wouldn't stay in place. It would shift around and stuff. So like even the shots like over the driver's seat, you know, looking out to the front window, it was difficult to get, but I mean, it worked out in the end, so yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Marcus and Fred, I know you guys obviously as actors in this along with Fernando, what did you do to prepare for this? And you've probably both been passengers in cars, but obviously you had to sort of react to something that wasn't happening. Max brought up the idea that you weren't going to really crash the car.
Yeah.
So how did you sort of prepare for that, and what was your mindset going in?
When we first started recording, we didn't know how we were going to crash the car, and it was an accident that the camera fell. So it was my actual reaction to grab the camera. Like, and you see in the video, I looked forward, and it looked like I was like grabbing Fernando and like telling him like to move out the way or stuff like that. So it looked authentic. And as far as like preparing and stuff, I think like driving and testing is a really like dangerous thing. It's not something that but it's something that we see happen all the time. And I feel like as teenagers and stuff, we have a powerful voice. So I was really happy that we could display this message.
Fred, you got to play the lone survivor of this.
Yeah, I did.
What was your mindset going into this, and how were you going to emulate the idea of being saddened by the fact that if you had said something, your friends would still be alive today?
Well, during filming in the car scene, we didn't use the audio that we captured from then. So Max really like helped me out during like when and how to react when the car crashed. He also helped me out during the cemetery scene. We also didn't use audio for that, so he was walking me through it.
Excellent. Overall, it's a great piece. We had some really nice entries this year. We had 3 separate, but this one was probably the most strong we had.
Actually, you had 2 that were finalists. You
That's
were the
absolutely right.
only community that actually had 2 that were finalists.
It's good to hear.
This was the one that resonated the most with students across Eastern Massachusetts, which is why you won. And again, I feel so strongly about distracted driving, and I would just want to make the comment, it's not just with phones. Some of the things that I see on a regular basis just shock me. I've seen women put makeup on, eye makeup
Yeah.
on while they're driving. Eating can be eating, drinking can be a huge distraction. And very honestly, just sometimes chatting with a friend, you get into, and your eye goes off the road for 1 second, and everyone, just as with texting, thinks, oh, I can do it, I cannot look for that second or two, and that's when, unfortunately, tragedy can happen. So I really hope that this will be a very strong message, not only to students, but to adults, to really pay attention while they're driving. When the 5 finalists are shown across Eastern Massachusetts in classrooms, in school assemblies, I always hope that it will get people talking, because this was the only finalist that was about texting and driving. There were 4 other topics too. And I always hope that it will get people talking about risk factors for teens. And again, the mission of our organization is keeping kids healthy and safe. So I thank you so much for your wonderful contribution. This will be on our website, and I know that it will also be aired on cable TV. Congratulations.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.